Kody and Robyn kept telling her that Janelle was in charge of the finances.
Janelle was saying, no, I haven't been in charge of the finances. And Kody and Robyn have said, yeah, she has been. And I'm just like, anyway, it's a lot of pointing fingers.
Janelle's in charge of the finances. I'm sorry. No wonder Meri and Janelle never got along.
There was no reason for them to think that I wasn't going to be fair.
Well, it feels like there was some distrust there that you weren't going to be fair.
Because Janelle and Meri are both leaving me going, wish I had some way to get alimony.
Christine chimes in terms of Kody being fair, not being fair when it comes to the money, and she shares with us, so good, she shares with us that Janelle told her, because Janelle had the books.
Janelle just dropped the receipts and the numbers scream $1 million. We're talking hidden kickbacks, secret transfers, and why Kody and Robyn are suddenly scrambling to spin the story. Buckle up, besties, because the family fund is officially on fire.
Christine wasn't getting anywhere near the amount of money that Robyn was receiving.
If you thought the Brown family's financial drama peaked with Coyote Pass, think again. In a jaw-dropping reveal, bookkeeping queen Janelle has traced a $1 million cash trail siphoned straight out of the so-called family pot. We're talking designer backyards, mystery kickbacks, and tuition bills that magically vanished.
That was back at least a year before they moved to Vegas. And the next sentence out of Kody's mouth?
When we bought our houses, Robyn's kickback from the house went to other family members.
For some kids, anyway. Tonight, we're unpacking Janelle's paper trail, the explosive reactions from Christine and Meri, and the icy silence from Kody and Robyn HQ. Allegedly, this money shuffle spans a decade, and the IRS-sized questions it raises could bulldoze the entire sister wives empire. Let's dive into the dollars and the drama, because this bombshell is bigger than any wedding, divorce, or commitment ceremony they've ever filmed.
Kickback is like what you do on the sly and under the table. It's like oh, you do this deal for me and I will give you a little kickback. A little bonus money. That's what kickback is.
Janelle never fancied herself a detective. She just wanted her QuickBooks files to balance before tax season. Yet one rainy Thursday, when the rest of Flagstaff was busy debating patio furniture versus snow shovels, she pulled out a thumb drive labeled Family Ledger Archive and decided to give the books one last tidy up. At first, everything looked normal. Grocery totals, propane refills, the occasional orthodontist payment, but then a line item labeled Household Improvement Private caught her eye. Private? That was not a category she created. She clicked through and nearly spilled her coffee.
Why does everyone think you're in charge of the finances? I mean, everyone...
Yeah, no, this is something I began to realize because Kody was always telling everybody that I was somehow calling the shots on the money.
But she's like, I saw where all the money was going. And how much money Kody took and how much money Robyn took was a lot more than you were taking. We didn't know, we never knew what the other wives were getting money-wise. We just understood what we had, but Janelle saw it all. And Janelle doesn't say much, and she's very tight-lipped.
The amount, just shy of $200,000, had been broken into bite-sized transfers, each marked with Kody's electronic signature, and every deposit landed squarely in the same household account, Robyn's. Curious, she scrolled backward through the years. There it was again. Salon invoices bundled under kids' essentials, boutique jewelry purchases disguised as holiday gifts, and a single eye-watering charge for custom landscaping that cost more than some down payments. Each time, the money slid from the shared LLC into that identical personal account. By midnight, Janelle's dining table was buried in printouts, color-coded sticky notes fanning out like a crime scene map. The total? Just over $1 million. Siphoned in slow, steady drips, hidden among real family expenses, and masked by Kody's favorite phrase, household assets. The next morning, she confronted the ledger the way any sensible woman would, highlighter in one hand, phone in the other, calling Christine with words she never imagined she'd say. I think I found the smoking gun. And that, dear friends, is how the quietest Brown wife set off the loudest financial alarm this family has ever heard.
Was it uncomfortable when he would be demonstrative and show some PDA?
It was always uncomfortable and awkward. It still is now when I see it with him and Robyn. It's like, because I feel like now it's almost like I'm throwing it in your face, and I don't like that.
Imagine balancing your household checkbook after supper, only to realize an entire mortgage payment has slipped out the back door. That was Janelle's Thursday evening. She opened her dusty QuickBooks archive expecting the usual nickel and dime stuff, dog food, propane, SAT fees, then spotted a tidy ledger entry labeled Household Improvement Private. The amount? Nearly $200,000. Spread across a flurry of smaller pulls no bigger than 10 grand each. They were spaced just far enough apart that no single withdrawal looked scandalous, yet every transfer landed in the same place. An account tagged Brown Robyn Holdings. Janelle clicked back another fiscal quarter and her jaw tightened. Under Kids Essentials, she found boutique jewelry receipts. Sterling silver charms, gemstone earrings, the sort of essentials that arrive in velvet pouches. Scroll back farther, and there was that infamous landscaping bill. A custom flagstone patio and fire pit package for more than most folks' first cars. She checked the authorization column, every single one rubber stamped by Kody's electronic signature. Seasoned as she is, Janelle still believes in printing hard copies for the record, so she hit Control-P and watched page after page roll out. By midnight, her dining table looked like a mortgage office in tax season. Color-coded tabs, highlighting in 3 shades, and a Post-it mountain taller than the centerpiece.
If there's a bias, and I don't want to do that anymore. All I can think is that it's somehow driven by his ego. In some regards, especially coming from the culture that we come from, he's a failure to have lost all his marriages.
When she totaled the outgoing transfers, the figure stared back like a neon sign. $1 million siphoned over a decade, always away from the pot meant for every wife and every child. That sleepless night ended with a single text to Christine. Have proof. Grab coffee tomorrow. Strong. Because if one thing rattles a mother who has stretched every dollar, it is discovering someone else has been stretching the truth with hers. Kody loves to talk about the first corporate paycheck. You've heard the story. How, back in the Vegas years, his new LLC finally cut him a salary, and supposedly every wife got an equal slice. In reruns, he waxes poetic. We pooled our resources, divvied the amounts, and that first check was a blessing straight from heaven. Blessing or not, Janelle's spreadsheet says the math never blessed her bank account. Here's what she found. The day Kody's LLC wrote its inaugural check, just shy of $140,000, there were 4 transfers. Christine's and Meri's landed exactly where expected. Janelle's, half. The rest, routed by Kody to a temporary holding account. Within 48 hours, that holding account zeroed out into, drumroll, Robyn's boutique fund. Janelle highlighted the trail in neon orange, added a note for good measure. Kickback? ?
I do believe both Meri and Janelle also had a kickback that went to Robyn. So yes, Robyn's house was the first one to sell.
But Kody's retelling doesn't stop there. He claims that very first payout funded family assets, including a bulk purchase of Coyote Pass survey fees. Janelle pulled those invoices too. The survey company was paid a full 14 months later, by credit line, not cash. Translation, the check never touched the dirt it was allegedly measuring. Christine, coffee mug in hand, nearly choked when Janelle read the timeline aloud. So while he was telling viewers we all got equal shares, she said, Robyn's assets were getting expedited shipping. Meri quietly nodded. She remembered asking for help with Mariah's tuition that same quarter and being told, funds are frozen. The only thing frozen, it seems, was Kody's ability to admit he'd already allocated the money, just not to the ledger line he bragged about on camera. Is it a kickback or a cover-up? Depends which side of the highlighter you're on. But the discrepancy is no longer a dusty memory. It's a color-coded printout with Kody's e-signature at the bottom and a $1 million paper trail that refuses to disappear. Meri has always prided herself on keeping life's big promises, especially to her daughter. So when Mariah's first college tuition invoice arrived, Meri marched into the shared office, checkbook in hand, and asked Kody if the family account could cover half. He smiled that easy, reassuring smile and said, "Don't worry, the fund has it, write your part, and I'll move the rest tonight." Meri thanked him, mailed her check, and never thought twice, until Janelle's audit landed on her kitchen table.
I was leaving Kody, and there was no way I wanted to be tied to him in any way, shape, or form, and I did not like to deal with him at all on anything, and especially on finances. No thank you.
Line 23, highlighted in pink, BYU tuition, Meri personal checking. Line 24, highlighted in yellow, BYU. Tuition duplicate, Meri boutique proceeds, 2 separate withdrawals, both stamped with Meri's name. Not 1 cent came from the so-called family pot. In other words, Meri paid twice, once from her household budget, and again from the proceeds of her clothing side gig that everyone assumed were going toward the communal reserve. She called Janelle in disbelief. Are you sure this isn't a clerical error? Janelle, ever the diplomat, walked her through the timestamps. Both transactions cleared the same week Kody filmed a confessional claiming every child's education is a collective priority. Meri set down the phone, stared at the statement, and felt a mix of anger and heartbreak settle in her chest. All those nights selling leggings online after work, thinking the profit would help everybody, only to discover she'd been refunding her own tuition request behind her own back. Christine's reaction was blunt. "Meri, that wasn't an accident. Someone shifted the source code and hoped you'd never check." Meri, usually slow to anger, felt something solidify. She pulled the original bank app on her tablet, scrolled back through years of deposits, and circled a pattern of identical double charges, textbooks, dorm fees, even Mariah's senior year meal plan. Each one quietly rerouted from her boutique income, never the communal coffers. When Meri finally confronted Kody about the duplicate tuition pulls, his reply was a familiar shrug. Accounting hiccup. You know how online transfers can be, but Janelle's printouts don't hiccup. They document.
Meri is genuinely surprised to learn that Janelle isn't controlling the purse strings. The fact that Meri was funneling money and not asking questions is shocking.
And Meri now knows precisely how many of her hard-earned dollars propped up a family fund that somehow always came up empty. Unless, of course, the bill had Robyn's name on it. Remember the grocery binder Janelle lugged everywhere in the Vegas years? Stuffed with clipped coupons and buy one get one meat deals? She and Christine spent weekends comparing sale flyers, pinching pennies to stretch the communal food budget. Yet, while Janelle scoured clearance bins, Robyn's weekly grocery deliveries showed a different story. Imported cheeses, artisan breads, and sparkling water by the case. When Janelle matched household debits against delivery receipts, the disparity leapt off the page. During one 3-month stretch, Christine's grocery column averaged just over $300 every 2 weeks, feeding half a dozen growing children on sale chicken and family-sized cereal. Robyn's column over the same period, nearly $900 bi-weekly, on a family less than half that size. Add the personal care products, high-end skincare, salon brand shampoo, and the difference climbed past $1,000 a month. Cars followed the same pattern. Meri's trusty sedan limped along with 200,000 miles on the odometer, but Kody insisted new vehicles aren't in the budget. Meanwhile, a brand new SUV appeared in Robyn's driveway, financed, Janelle later noted, through the joint LLC. And the backyards? Kody hired local teens to patch a worn sprinkler head at Janelle's rental. Robyn received a professional landscaping crew, complete with sod, pavers, and a pergola strung with cafe lights.
And if the land isn't getting paid off, and if Kody can't come up with a paper trail if a wife were to ask for an accounting of where their money was going, I mean, that would all be Janelle's fault.
The final straw came when Janelle tallied expenses for children's extracurriculars. One of Christine's daughters requested a modest theater camp scholarship, denied for lack of funds. Yet, 2 weeks later, a tuition payment for Robyn's son's private music lessons cleared without a hiccup, totaling triple that theater fee. When Janelle confronted Kody, he called it situational need. Christine's daughter found a junior college choir instead. Robyn's son debuted his new violin at an upscale recital. Tickets, of course, charged to the LLC. For the 3 original wives, penny pinching was preached as virtue. For Kody and Robyn, it appears thrift was merely for show, because the family fund always had room for designer groceries, fresh landscaping, and private lessons. When the request came from the right address. For years, the big mystery was why Kody's grand Coyote Pass dream kept rearranging itself like musical chairs. First, he floated a 5-parcel plan, then 4. Meri's name shrank from nearly 4 acres to a skinny 2. Janelle's plot zigzagged on every survey. And, surprise, Robyn's boundaries ballooned until she had the single largest slice of the mesa. Kody's explanation? Topography and taxes, ladies. Janelle's new ledger tells a different story. Every time surveyors redrew a property line, a matching withdrawal pinged the family account, earmarked permit fees or environmental study. Yet invoices show most of those costs rolled back into Robyn's parcel.
He was like, oh, okay. Because I think that he thought that I was keeping money from him or from the family. I'm like, no, let me show you what I have contributed.
Soil prep, retaining walls, even a specialized drainage system for her future dream house. When Christine asked why her own lot budget went untouched, Kody shrugged. We need to finish one project at a time. Translation? Money flowed to the slope where Robyn's floor-to-ceiling windows would someday face sunrise, while the other wives' acreage sat bare and brush-covered. Meri's 2-acre downgrade makes perfect financial sense once you see the ledger. The month her plot was trimmed, a hefty payment left the LLC titled Purchase Adjustment. Janelle matched it to a luxury patio invoice. Robyn's again. Meri had assumed the adjustment was for Coyote Pass debt. In reality, it covered stamped concrete and wrought iron railings hundreds of miles away in Flagstaff. Janelle's portion saw the opposite game. Kody penciled her in for the least desirable strip. Steep, rocky, no utilities. Survey records reveal that relocating easements to help Robyn's driveway would have cost thousands had they cut through her own land. Instead, the easements crossed Janelle's patch. Zero compensation offered. Key takeaway: redraw enough lines, and you can shift expensive obstacles onto someone else's lot while sending the savings and the scenery to your preferred address. So, when fans asked why land assignments felt lopsided, the answer wasn't hidden in zoning laws. It was hiding in plain sight, in every permit fee and adjustment quietly pulled from the communal pot and rerouted to the parcel Kody and Robyn always planned to occupy, long after the camera crews packed up and the other wives moved on. When Janelle's color-coded dossier reached the production office, even the most seasoned TLC staffer reportedly went pale. A $1 million discrepancy is not just messy family drama, it's a potential tax headache for every executive who signed the Browns' talent contracts. Under standard reality TV agreements, any undisclosed income routed through a show-branded LLC can expose the network to questions from both advertisers and the Internal Revenue Service.
Robyn never received any of the money. When we bought our houses, Robyn's kickback from the house went to other family members.
Translation: if Kody shuffled communal cash into personal pockets while cameras rolled, those dollars rode under a TLC umbrella, whether the network knew it or not. Insiders whisper that corporate legal fired off a quiet memo the moment the figures surfaced. Preserve all footage featuring financial discussions. Possible compliance review. That is polite code for get ready to hand over hard drives if an auditor calls. Meanwhile, veteran producers are weighing the optics. Renew a series whose patriarch now drags a suspected 7-figure cash trail, or cut bait before viewers start tagging the network in #AuditTheBrowns posts. One source claims season 20 contracts remain unsigned pending internal review. As for the IRS, Janelle's team has already consulted a tax attorney specializing in multi-member LLCs. If her audit reveals unreported distributions or falsified deductions tied to Robyn's boutique habit, the agency could demand back taxes, penalties, even a forensic deep dive into every year the show aired. Think interest charges that grow faster than Flagstaff property values. And because the family fund was framed on screen as equal share income, any unbalanced withdrawal looks like classic under-the-table compensation. Exactly the kind of scenario that lands in a revenue agent's red folder. Network backlash, legal scrutiny. Janelle may have lit a fuse longer than she realizes. One thing is clear: this bombshell is no longer confined to family meetings. It now hovers over an entire reality TV franchise, poised to detonate the moment a government envelope lands in the Browns' shared mailbox, or TLCs. Janelle's dossier didn't just open eyes. It opened calendars. Her first appointment after the bombshell weekend was with a Scottsdale litigator who specializes in partnership fraud. The retainer paid out of her personal savings.
She had too much influence on our money, and in the end, we're just getting us straightened out at the end.
No more family pot gymnastics. She wants a forensic audit, court-ordered depositions, and, if necessary, liens on any property Kody tries to shuffle before trial. Her lawyers early read, the paper trail is substantial, contemporaneous, and highly persuasive. In plain English, Janelle has enough documentation to file a civil suit tomorrow, and to petition a judge for immediate discovery so nobody shreds a single receipt. Christine is taking a parallel tack. Her tell-all memoir, once a warm recollection of plural marriage highs and lows, now includes an entire chapter tentatively titled The $1 Million Shell Game. Her publisher moved the release date up 6 weeks after hearing about the ledger. Why? Nothing boosts pre-orders like fresh controversy. Christine's contract reportedly includes a revenue sharing clause. The hotter the headlines, the higher her royalty bump. She's ready to name names, quote figures, and print screenshots. Every draft chapter she finishes goes straight into an encrypted cloud folder, because the last thing she'll allow is a printer malfunction, wiping out her evidence. Meri's strategy is meticulous and private. She hired an estate planning firm to audit every trust, deed, and insurance policy tied to the Browns' LLCs.
It was like Janelle's mom told me, hey, you better cool this. We might have gotten some bad places as a family because I always envied those families that could actually do the PDA.
Their first discovery, her name appears on fewer assets than Kody long claimed on camera. Step 2 is a misrepresentation claim, filed quietly but with teeth. If Kody's public statements influenced her financial decisions and those statements prove false, she can pursue compensation plus interest. Insiders say her attorney is already drafting interrogatories demanding every bank log dating back to the Lehigh years. The trio meets Sunday nights over Zoom. Janelle calls it receipts and refreshments. Each week they upload new documents to a shared drive. One rule: no more verbal agreements, no more handshake deals. Every promise goes in writing, every spreadsheet line gets a timestamp, and every legal filing moves them closer to reclaiming the money they earned while someone else spent it. For Kody and Robyn, that means the days of shrugging off accounting hiccups are numbered, and each new motion leaves less wiggle room than the last unbalanced budget. So here we stand, ladies. A $1 million cash trail exposed, a potential IRS probe on deck, and 3 determined women arming themselves with lawyers, ledgers, and bestseller contracts. Will Kody's kingdom survive a forensic audit? Could Robyn's boutique hauls become Exhibit A in a courtroom where every dollar must be traced? And what happens to the entire Sister Wives franchise if TLC decides the legal risk outweighs the ratings gold? Tell me, do you think Janelle's lawsuit will force Kody and Robyn to open their books? Or will they find yet another way to blame accounting errors? Whose strategy has you cheering the loudest? Janelle's courtroom offensive, Christine's memoir reveal, or Meri's quiet but lethal misrepresentation claim? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment. While you're here, tap like, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next update. A fresh video is already queued up, and trust me, when the subpoenas start flying, the drama will make any wedding or divorce episode look tame. Stay tuned, sister friends. The real reckoning is just getting started.